Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. We continue our coverage of the Horus Legion World Cup 2021 and today I'm here with NumberJuan1. How are you, Juan?
I'm doing good.
Great. So this is round 5 I believe and you're up against Poland. Or maybe is it only round 4? I can't remember.
Excuse me?
Maybe it's only round 4?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, so round 4 and you're up against IamDearDeer.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you're playing Horus Leopold with this deck.
Yes.
We will notice the 2 last rifle section, which are a bit unusual. 2 double Chanton squad, 1 Philistiner airborne, and Targos, Motherghost, and also 2 mortar strikes. So you're not going for the full troop build, not going for the full burst build, kinda an in between.
Yes, I feel that in the tournament format, Burn Horus is superior to Troop Horus because you can just further beat down your opponent when you can guarantee that they aren't also running a troop deck. Because in tournaments, it's mostly Burn, and Horus is by far, I feel, the most consistent Burn, besides maybe Perturabo.
Yeah, and that's exactly who you're facing, because we got to take into account that you're facing the Khan, like Jagatai Khan, which is, I mean, I believe it's the DRD, he's the only one who runs the Khan, and you're also facing, not Horus, but Perturabo and Shabran, so a very bursty matchups, so burst version of Horus definitely makes sense. And then you have Ahriman, the very classical list. Remember that we are not allowed to play the Solar Auxilia cards, so it's no surprise that this is a classic vehicle Ahriman deck and not a Solar Auxilia one. So what will we notice possibly? We will notice the Death Sat, which are a bit unusual, but I can understand why you want to play it against Shabran, which is by far your worst matchup.
That is why I put it in.
Only 1 Doombringer, and then everything is pretty classic. One Mortar Strike 2, which makes sense against those burn decks. Alright, and lastly, we have Exodus. And Exodus, only 1 Harrowing, this is pretty common. The Serpent Squad build, only 1 of minis, which might be a little surprise given the fact that you're facing so many burn decks. But double Nebula, okay.
That was for Perturabo.
Yeah, I guess so. Okay, so without further ado, let's jump into the first game. So he opens with Darr and you open with Horus.
Yes.
I guess Horus is the most consistent of your warlords.
Yes, he is in almost all my games I start with Horus because I feel he's the most consistent, unless I know my opponent feels like they have a better deck that Ahriman could deal better with, like a troop, which was what happened with LCFR. He opened with Luther and I opened with Ahriman, and because I had Astral Warfare, I was able to clear his board easily, which I wouldn't have been able to do with Horus.
Yeah, you only have with Horus you only have those frag grenades, and maybe those deaths that I don't think you're running frag grenades as Horus ever. So, okay, and you actually go for the smoke grenade here, I think.
Yes,
because you want to protect that 3 of yours.
I want to protect it, and plus, if he lands Rond Veterans, which was my thought here, if he lands Rond Veterans, he swings at the Las Rifle, even he misses, he has counterattack to kill it, and then I have a Rond Veteran I have to deal with, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, you have the Chariot of the Gods, but you don't want to do it. And also, the Golden Enters. Now, even in Burst Horus, in Burn Horus, I mean, that's a bit unusual.
I only run 1 as like a backup Groger squad. It's good burst still, regardless of its nerf.
Yeah, and now you decide to go for the Face Bash because you have that Vengeful Spirit.
Because I have Vengeful to clear out the game, so I'm going aggro now.
Yep, all you need to do is survive until turn 8. And here comes the Rome Veteran. And yeah. Your hand is a bit empty though, that could be an issue. You go for the, go for the Chariots. Could you tell us about that? Why the Chariot and not the Outland, for example?
I felt the Chariot to clear it nicer, because it's 4 health, and otherwise I'm going to be taking 8 damage from it alongside his attacks, and I want to save Outflank for something bigger. And here I was just praying that he doesn't have Escape Vent, because if he does, I have no way to deal with it, and thankfully he didn't.
Thankfully he didn't. Okay, so keeping the outflank turned out pretty well. So that's nice. And yeah, we played that quick fire. We don't want to have any floating energy at the end of our turn. And you go bonk here, you go bonk.
I attack, he's low enough, and Vengeful in 2 turns with 2 face bashes is lethal.
Yep. And even he might even help you, you know? Yeah. I mean, you still need to be careful. He does play Vent in his deck, so we're a bit lucky that it only hits there. He uses it just because there will probably no better targets to use it on. So
I feel like he was saving it so he could have Sweeping Advance on it next turn, but I def stats and clear it anyway.
Yeah, definitely. And also now you have that Trundle Squad, like, it's very good. You've been able to use all of your energy with hands so small. That's what wins your game. It is such chance that win games. Impressive. Always emote your opponent, especially in the first games. And
he's able to clear my Chandon squad, and then he surprises me by he uses counterattack, but then he heals with
Kardak. Wow. That's not something you see every day.
I was not expecting that, and if I hadn't swung the turn earlier, I wouldn't win here. So
yeah.
GG to him.
GG to him, yeah. But, you know, like, if he played, let's say, even Ravish it instead of that Kardak, then he can draw into the escape vent and hide his Argus Bronze, so I'm not entirely convinced by it. But anyway, you win that first game with a nice Vengeful Spirit. And now you're up 1-0, so you can't play Horus again. You need to choose either Ahriman or Exodus. So...
next match, I feared that he was going to bring, well, really anything, and so I just brought Ahriman.
Yeah,
I felt he'd be probably the most consistent against maybe the Khan or Darr again because of the front lines. But he brings Perturabo.
It's extremely consistent. Yeah, it's very good in both of these matchups, but it's kind of hard against Perturabo. Now, I can't remember if you have Edict of Censure in your deck.
I was not running it. I maybe should have teched it in.
Maybe. It does set up in the matchup. Even with the Edict, it's still a very hard matchup. But without it, I feel like it's very, very hard. But actually, the main... I've played my fair share of Ahriman games, and especially in this matchup. And what I realized is that it's not so much about how fast can the Perturabo kill you, it's more about how fast can you kill him. Because if you go slowly, he can always shoot at your troops, and sometimes you end up exhausting your resources. So it can be that's why it's such a hard matchup, because it's not only about tanking the damage. You need to kill him at some point, and it's hard for us because Ahriman can only kill his opponent with developing some board. And usually he's very good at it, thanks to his ability. Like, you precog your thing, so your opponent can deal with them, and so you can deal damage to his face with your troops. But against Perturabo it doesn't work, because all of the things all he has is basically shooting, so he can shoot right and left. And except if you have Alexa's Nebula in your deck, it can be very, very hard. But okay. No Astral Warfare here for you, which is a bit sad. It always sucks putting damage into those barricades, and you're not even doing that on a barricade. On the 2-1. Interesting.
On the 2-1, because I figured I would save myself more damage in the long run by killing that 2-1. And I also didn't play Izakar this turn because it would just die to viral because of 2-1.
Yeah. True.
And then he runs Remembrancer Order, Harvest Lighters to refill 2, and he shoots off my Pi Alpha.
That's a real play.
This entire game, I think he gets Precision Bombardment about 6 times. Lots of cycle.
I mean, he has 3 in the deck, so...
Yeah. There's my Astral now, but a little late. And I think I do a misplay here. I should have landed the Izakar, but instead I thought... Well, I don't really know what I was thinking at the time, but just landing the Mortar Strike now before he lands a Barricade. But even then, Astral.
Well, given
Yeah,
the
this was
fact
just flat out a misplay from me.
given the fact you have Astral, it might be a bit of misplay. But on the other hand, if he can answer Jubak now, it's extremely good. I mean, he probably can just because he has 3 precision bombardments in his deck and 2 superior firepowers.
Yes.
But still, yeah. Izako was a decent option, and you kinda need those 5 damage to hit his face. Well, that's a good draw.
I also precog it here because I don't know if he could be running Vorax or any other thing, and I already have enough power, so
You
didn't
could
really see it as a waste.
Yeah. In case he plays Erasmus Gold, you could want to have 2 more. But yeah, you don't really need it. And now we're in one of those games where it's actually the Perturabo who is killing you, and you could kill him if you just had more times, but it's not that usual, that common. So, I guess you're gonna set up the Penalty Dash and just pray it survives to buy yourself some more time. But even if it does...
Pray that I survive as well.
Yeah, too, that too. But even if it does, he's just straight up as 13 damage next turn with Controller and his ability, so it's harder. Anyway. And another Precision Bombardment comes in.
Several of those. And
he face dashes. Yeah, expectedly. So now how far are you? You have 6, you have, let's say, you have 10 points of damage in your hand. Which is a lot, but not quite enough.
Nope. As I play Izakar, but it's Burn Perturabo. He has enough reach.
Yeah.
Though he doesn't pull Contrador, so oh well.
At the very least. But like, if he only had 1 card, no second Precision Bombardment, I mean, it's a second burn card he has, that could have saved your ass. But, alright. It's a very unfavored matchup. You don't run Edict, what's more, so... Anyway.
Well, the problem is, if I was running Edict, I would have swapped it out for the Def sets, and I didn't pull Def sets either, so that's how I see it.
Yeah, true, so it would have changed anything. Alright, and so, moving on to the last game. And you go for... So now he has to play Darr or the Khan, and I guess you prefer against Darr to play as Exodus, right?
Yes, I felt that Exodus against either Khan or Shabran, I can just outstun him, especially if he's Khan, so I felt this would be a good match.
Yeah, definitely. And also, yeah, that's also one of the reasons why it surprised me a bit that you didn't go for Exodus before, but I guess your idea is that even if he wins with Perturabo, then I will just validate my Exodus.
He's just gonna play Perturabo again.
Because the problem, if you win with Exodus first, before the Ahriman, then he knows you're playing Ahriman, and he's surely gonna play Perturabo. And that you don't want that to happen. So overall, it's not that big of a risk. It's better in this format to first play the warlords you're not the most comfortable with. And you go for the vent.
I escape vent it to protect it, because I want at least a body on the board to swing into Rond or anything he plays.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so easy for Shabran Darr to deal 4 points of damage like that, even though he doesn't have counter attack. Okay. We're gonna see some Fortress veterans, alright. And now that you top deck the Serpent Squad, you're kinda wishing you had saved that escapement, right?
Both yes and no, because I feel Serpent Squad might be a little too slow in this matchup. Landing it and then, well...
Yeah,
I just feel it's too slow.
No, you don't have the time. And I also noticed that you have double Harrowing in your hands, so...
Yeah, it was a little sad, but is what it is.
Yeah.
So I land the Serpent Squad here, hoping that'll bait the Brond or something, make it bigger.
Yeah, what I meant is that it's not the same exact list as the one you showed us, but like it should be only a couple different cards.
Yes, I think I took out a crucial choice for the Harrowing. I think I showed you an old deck.
Okay, that makes sense.
And here I'm just hoping he doesn't have anti-stealth, but
He does.
he does.
And now, how much can he ping his thing?
Braun go bonk.
On Braun goes bonk. Alright, yeah, very unlucky. He didn't have... There are not that many cards that can ping for one in his deck. But no!
But I'm not dead.
But are you actually happy about that? Uh-huh. Yeah, I guess he needed to do that. He couldn't afford to just play around. If he did, then he could have also killed your Serpent Squad. But like then, yeah, the game goes on much longer. I think it was an acceptable risk for him. Because I don't think that the instrument is a card he will keep in the mulligan. I'm not sure actually.
Well, no. I wouldn't have kept the kept instrument in the mulligan, but just as soon as he landed that bronze and I saw it able to be pulled, I knew it was going to be my only chance out of this, and it was.
And it was. And so you win 2-1. Congratulations, Juan, on winning that game. America is doing very well, I believe, in the bracket.
Yes, we are currently tied for second place with a bunch of others because I think there is currently 3 tied for second place.
Okay.
I believe this is the actual deck that I was using.
Okay, let's
apologies.
Take a quick look at it. So double harrowing indeed, and silent death 2, and 2 enough minis. Yeah, that makes sense against the warlord you were facing. All right. So anyway, thank you, Juan, for joining me today.
Thank you for hosting me, Balger.
I do hope it was an enjoyable experience for you. It definitely was for me. And I'll see you guys on YouTube very soon with some more Horus Legion World Cup content. Have a good one.
You too.